Thanks for joining me on Newbie Prepper Monday. We're just going to look at alternative uses for an MRE bag. You can save these bags and do a lot of different things. I don't personally buy any MREs anymore. This is from years and years ago. I saved these bags when I used them. I just kind of had them basically purchased, and then after about four and a half years of them being stored in cool location, I went ahead and consumed the meals. Of course, I only got the vegetarian. As you can see, this is the vegetarian menu number 6, chili with beans. And so I bought like a couple cases of vegetarian way back in the day. And when they got close to that 5-year mark, even though there are a lot of people say they can get up to maybe 7 to 8 years before they totally start to break down in nutrition, I went ahead and just consumed it. And I just have not replenished or bought anything since in terms of MREs. For one, they are very bulky for the size and what you get. Yes, there's a lot of calories, but number 2, they're not so good for you. There's a lot of preservatives, lots of sugar products that I would not recommend. And number 3, they're very expensive for what you get. So bulky, basically, not good for you and expensive. So anyways, we're just looking at the bag. So for new preppers, this is just kind of an exercise on what you can do with things off label, just using ingenuity. And so you want to be a flexible, free-thinking person when you're a prepper. You want to make sure you can always do multiple things with anything you get and have multiple types of fulfillment of your needs. Maybe, for example, like tools. For example, like a multi-tool would probably be a really simple example of something that has capabilities to do a lot of different tasks instead of just having a simple pocket knife. And so let's get into this. First of all, this could be used as a storage pouch for, like, if you want to forage food. It could be you could put berries in there, other different types of different. Could be even cattails. It could even be non-foods. Maybe for just kindling or for fire tinder. You could, if you're in a really bad rainstorm and you don't have any kind of way to protect maybe your handgun, for example, or a knife, and you're worried about it rusting, you could put it in here, wrap it up, bend over the top, put some duct tape or whatever you have, Gorilla Tape, and seal it off and kind of make a makeshift handgun cover. It could be even made and modified into a survival kit. You could literally, if this is all you had, and you were desperate for a container or a pouch, you could just use this. I mean, the plastic is very strong, people. I mean, people who know about these know, but I mean, the reason that they're so strong is because they were actually engineered and made so that they could actually withstand the fall. If someone was parachuting and these came out of their pack, they would actually be able to survive the impact. So I'm not sure what the elevation protocols or the specs were of how far you can drop these, but you can supposedly drop these from very high altitudes and they supposedly stay intact. I know if you're trying to open these, you have to really try to open these to get them open. And most people actually just use a blade because especially the older ones were very difficult. Now the new ones have these peelable seals. Now this is supposedly for, it says for military, civilian, and emergency preparedness. This is really the civilian version of the MRE Stars. And so I'm not sure exactly what the total difference is between this one and the military issued ones. Besides, I'm sure that they might have some of the similar closure. I'm not for sure. Now I do know that some of the items inside are definitely going to be different. They have different little packs of condiments, and I think some of them even come with like toilets and just little hand wipes, and instead of just napkins like this one did, they might even have a higher quality of utensils. Maybe like the spoon and fork could be higher quality. Not for sure. The ones that came in this one were pretty decent. Some of them come with candy and Tabasco sauce. So I'm sure that, I know that this is like the next step down from a real military issued, but nonetheless, it comes from the same companies. There's like a handful of companies that make this for the military, and this is just a civilian version. So let's go back into the list of things you can use this for. You could use this to put over your shoes. You could put one over each shoe to keep water out of your shoe and tie off at the top. You could probably just make little holes and rivets, take some parachute cord and pull it over, make it a drawstring, and make shoe covers. So if you had shoes that that weren't waterproof, you could use them as hand coverings. If you didn't have gloves and you just needed something to help kind of provide at least some level of insulation, you could put your hands in these. You could probably even fit both hands at one time. The next would be you could tape them together. You could actually just slice this on the edge, maybe even on the bottom with your knife, open this up, and take multiple of these bags if you have them, and maybe patch quilt them together to make maybe an article of clothing, maybe even some kind of like a blanket or some kind of ground tarp. It's definitely doable. I've seen a lot of people do that, especially clothing. It seems a little silly, but it's definitely doable, especially if you have Gorilla Tape or duct tape. The next thing I've seen people do is make makeshift pillows. You can just take, just one of these actually is enough, and blow as much air in there as possible, close it off real fast, duct tape it really good, maybe even reinforce the ends with more duct tape or Gorilla Tape, and you got a little pillow. If you didn't want to just blow air in there, because there is a high likelihood it could seep out throughout the night, you could stuff clothing in there and make it that way. And so not only just put clothing in, you could take a shirt and put it on the outside, and so your head isn't just resting on plastic. So that's an idea. Next idea would be to hold hot water. So let's say you boiled some water on your campfire, you could put some of that in here, and while you're shaving, you could dip your razor in there, get hot water to make your shaving experience a little more pleasant and more enjoyable than just cold water. You could also use it to put hot water in there to wash your face if you were on the move and you couldn't just hover over the fire, or if the fire was so hot that the water was boiling. After the water got a little bit cooler, you could put it in the bag and then let it cool even a little bit more, and then use it for your face. And you could fill it and tape it off and use it as little sandbags. You'd have to have quite a few of them to make something, because they're rather small compared to real sandbags, but they're not real small. And if you had a few dozen of these, you could probably at least make a little makeshift a little area if you just needed to have cover behind. Maybe you're on the top of a hill and you just wanted to have a little bit of more protection against gunfire. It's just another possibility. Also, it could be used to build up maybe like a ground platform, so you're not on the ground itself. You can also use these as targets for rifles. So you could fill this up with dirt or sand, put like an X on here with your tape, and use it as a target. And then when you hit it a few times, you just put more tape over top of it. You can keep on reusing it. You could also use this as by using sand as well, or clothing. Most likely sand would be better, or dirt. And take a few of these and pile them up, maybe a foot high or whatever the height you need. And you could take your rifle and put it on top of there and make it as a rifle stand. I've seen people do that. And coming toward the end here, we're looking at some different reasons you could use this. It could be a barf bag. It also could be an emergency relief bag. If you couldn't go to the bathroom and you were on patrol, or you were stationed at a guard duty tower or something, and you couldn't leave, like it was so important that you couldn't leave, you could use this in an emergency to relieve yourself. And I think one of the last things I have on my mind here would be maybe like a makeshift dry bag. If you put sensitive items in here, maybe like a phone or a tablet or whatever electronics, you'd probably want to take this in and roll it as much as possibly going down, and take Gorilla Tape and cinch it even more, and then do a crosshatch with more tape. And I think that would be pretty heavily water resistant. Maybe not 100% waterproof, but if that was just put into another bag that had more water resistance as well, the chances of those items getting compromised by moisture and water is very low. So hopefully this is just a primer. There's probably literally like hundreds, if not thousands, of more uses for these bags. And I'm just touching on some of them that are maybe a little bit more alternative, but totally not out of the scope of things that people have used. And as always, thanks for joining me on Newbie Prepper Monday. If you have different uses for your MRE bag, or the pouch that comes in, feel free to put that down in the comment section below. And hey, thanks all for all your comments, and all the new subscribers for joining us here. And feel free to check out the rest of my channel. Every day of the week we have different themes, and sometimes we have bonus videos throughout those days. And so keep checking back on a regular basis to see what's new. Thanks again. Catch you real soon.